And we're ready in the house. Hey. Alright, what's happening here? Why is YouTube wanting to play the fool this hour today? Red fans, red people, red nation, hey, red everybody. Why is this thing doing this kind of crazy thing this hour? YouTube just decide to act up for whatever reason. I don't understand YouTube. YouTube, what is your problem? You're good to go now? Right, looks like we're good to go now. I think we're inside and we're good. Yay, good evening everybody. Red, once again, we inside. Today is a very special red day for me. Let's see what's happening. My producer tell me something there, I don't know what's going on there. Right, she don't give me a thumbs up, it come up. Forget this thing, I have a delay. There's a delayed something. So hey, we inside. Today's a very special red day for me. Why? Because today the red man is 55 years old. Yeah, see, I red already. My 868 because we are total Trini. We're all Trini. We real Trini with this thing, right? So today's my birthday, 55. People, what are you doing on? You doing live shows, you're supposed to be chilling. Well, everybody choose to do things their own way. I was never one to fuss. And I use the word fuss. I mean exactly what I am. Never want to fuss over birthdays, and people fuss over my birthday more than me. I mean, of course, I appreciate the fact that I'm 1 year older. I have lived 1 year older than many other people, and still feeling healthy and fit and looking to go again. So yeah, of course I appreciate that. I mean, but I don't have to keep a big whatever just to show that. Who are trying to prove that to? I'm just saying. I'm not saying that is why people do it. I'm just saying, not because I don't do that, which like what most people might do, means I'm not appreciative of the fact that God has granted me 1 more year of life. Definitely far from the case. But the reality is I am here. I am alive once more. I am alive still. I should say not once more, like if I was dead. I'm alive still. 55 and going forward, counting on. So of course I'm thankful to God for that. I thank God for life, for health, for strength, for my family who stuck with me, oh God, pressure. Hey, hush them all, hush. Behave yourself. Behave. Right. My wife and my son. Times like these I just miss Jamie so much more. But wife and son still here with me, still pumping, we still going on, we still strong, still vibrant together, still doing things together, still accomplishing things, so I thank God for that. Thank God for my family who has stuck with me. And let me say just one time before I get it, to all of you nice people who, many of you have contacted me personally. People call me and sing happy birthday to me. They send it as WhatsApp message, they send it on Facebook. They send it with one family member to send, hey, give that to and oh good. I ain't lying. It's a nice feeling. It is a nice feeling. I mean, I'm human being. I'm a human being. Of course, it's a nice feeling. I just don't fuss over those things. If it come, I enjoy it to the max. You decide to treat, I take it 100%. I take it with full gratitude. I love it, I enjoy it, but I don't stress over it. Some people, I'm poke a little fire there. Some people like to post on Facebook and think, happy birthday to me. That is some kind of desperate. It means you so want to hear happy birthday that you actually tell it to yourself. Now, I don't mind you put on Facebook, hey guys, it's my birthday, thing. Alright, no problem, but you so want people to know it's your birthday. You jump on, hey, happy birthday to me. That is some kind of lame. Like, if you want us to know it's your birthday, no problem. Hey, all my contacts, all my friends out there just want to, today's my birthday. I'm celebrating 1 more year. I'm a live thing. No problem with that, but happy birthday to me. Jeez, that is some kind of desperate birthday. I'm sorry, that's just how it come across to me. It sounds desperate. I'm sorry. Don't vex with me. I'm just saying how I feel. Some people don't mightn't say what they feel in to you, but trust me, they just say it because I see other people talking about them kind of things. So it's not something that people really like, but they just don't tell it because they don't want to upset you or whatever. But I am glad. I am grateful. I am thankful for celebrating another day. Of course, as we always say, like, share, subscribe, share the channel, let people know what's happening, subscribe to the thing, hit the little bell, so you'll always know when we post live. You'll get a little notification in your email or something saying that we on live. Like right now, we are on live. And today, as I say, is a special day. What we're talking about today, we continue with a new mini series we started, which was 10 things about all sorts of things. So last week we did 10 tips for success, and we had 10 persons or people representing 10 different areas of professionalism. We had a pastor, we had people from the banking industry, we had people into real estate, we had people into television production, we had people from a number of different types of industries, giving what one tip they think that if you're going to get into business or any kind of venture, if you need to implement some of these things, at least this one tip that they would have given, is one thing that they felt you needed to do or to put into place, put into practice to ensure that you are successful. And we had some very powerful tips. So if you could go back and check, just go back on the channel, youtube.com/redtt, youtube.com/redtt, and you can look at the past episode, look at that one last week, 10 tips for success. This week we're talking about 10 tips for a long-lasting relationship. Now notice I'm very careful with my words, right? Notice I didn't say 10 tips for that perfect relationship or 10 tips for bliss and 10, because one of the things I understand is that, notice the term lasting relationship. Now, anybody who is honest with themselves, that has been or are involved in any sort of relationship, will tell you that things don't always go 100%. It's not always a bed of roses. Sometimes you sleep on roses, sometimes you sleep on thorns, or pika, as we say in China. Sometimes you sleep on pika, you sleep on timawi bush. That's just reality of it. You will always have the up moments, you have the down moments, right? Because you're talking about two different people that trying to live together, that trying to coexist, that trying to, we come from different backgrounds, we have different family values, we have different personal values. One person have no problem beating the child, the other one to find that child abuse. Don't beat the child, talk to them. One might say, well, it's all the money that comes in is ours, is just one thing. Another one will say, no, your money is your money, my money is my money, and put on a certain, we have all these different things. One might find, we should be very compromising with situations. The next one might say, you need to hold your ground, don't compromise for nothing. So we have all these different things that come, that that we bring to the table, and we have to find some way to kind of merge all of these crazy things to live together or to coexist in whatever kind of relationship. Of course, it's a husband and wife scenario, talk about living together. It might be just two good friends, but you still need to coexist in a space. It might be a co-worker scenario, but you need to have a healthy relationship with that person for a long period of time because of, specifics with the job or whatever. A number of different ways that we could look at it, but the whole idea is, whatever the relationship is, what are 10 things that we can look at that would aid in us having a healthy relationship? Now, remember, this is not like a full, the final 10 list kind of thing. These are just 10 persons who I just randomly threw out things, and I asked them, hey, could you give me a tip to so, and they told me what was one of the things that they felt was important, that if anybody who is in or pursuing any kind of relationship, if you want to have longevity, these are 10 things to look at. So again, people from all walks of life, different age groups, people who have been together for like 5, 6, 10 years, people who have been together for 20, 30 plus years, and you get a variety of stuff. So look at it and feel free to add your piece, add your tip, whatever you feel. If you have a particular tip, jump in the chat, man. Let's engage and tell us some. Drop your tip in the chat. We actually live on Facebook, and we are live on YouTube right now. So post your comment. Let's see what you have to say. What is one of the tips? What is one tip you have? One tip that you feel persons in a relationship or looking to pursue some kind of relationship needs to put into place in order to ensure a long-lasting relationship. So let's jump right in. Without any further ado, drum roll or kind of nice little music playing in the background. Right, we have a little music playing in the background. Alright, so without any further ado, we're jumping in now to tip number, and I will might just add a few things after the tip and that kind of stuff, right? So here's tip number 1, ladies and gentlemen.
We talked about it before, and we think that honesty is actually the best policy. I know we've heard that growing up and things like that. It's in the Bible that says, the truth will set you free and things of that nature. But we truly believe that in marriage, in our partnership, honesty is absolutely necessary. It's absolutely important. It's absolutely imperative for a lasting relationship. We don't want to ever have the other person second guessing or wondering what is really truly happening in their feelings with regard to finances or anything like that. I believe that letting Jason know everything that's happening with me at the time that it's happening with me, even if it may hurt his feelings or not, is very important, so that we can at least understand what the issue is and then work together to move forward. But again, it starts with being 100% honest with your partner.
I agree, and as my wife said, it might sound a bit cliche, but a powerful cliche it is. It encapsulates everything. Honesty is pretty much the subheading for integrity, and everything else that goes along with a good relationship. So that is sewn within the very fabric of our marriage. So far, so good. We would think that everyone should have that in their relationship / marriage / whatever. It is the backbone of anything, so yeah, we think that honesty is the best policy.
Truly the best policy. So we've been doing this for almost 10 years next month, and we would tell anyone to do the same. There's a myriad of other tips, but of course to us that is the most important tip. So we hope that this helps everyone or someone out there or a couple out there to understand what are some of the necessary ingredients in a lasting relationship.
Oh yeah. Honesty, be real, be straight, be truthful. And we have a comment already coming in from one viewer. Trust, I most believe, and this is from Rhea. This is actually my cousin, Rhea Roshan Blocks, all the way from there. Hey Rhea, thanks very much for dropping that one. Trust. Now that's a serious thing. That is a serious thing. And when you hear the other tips coming down, you'll realize how trust just kind of ties in and just kind of weaves its way into the whole thing. And the interesting thing is, now trust is a big matter by itself, but in order to be honest with somebody, there has to also be that level of trust. So trust can actually be probably like the bedrock you know, and all the other things might kind of rest on top of it, but trust is a real significant one. Thanks for that, Ria. And so we want to thank this couple. What's their name? Jason and Adrian Allen for that first tip of honesty, and we want to thank them for being honest with us and sharing that tip. But that's a serious one, guys. Listen, I have a couple of them here that kind of hit me you know. Whew. Yeah, Eric, that one is for you. That's for you. We'll get to that. So all of them mightn't resonate with you, but I'm sure at least one, maybe two, maybe three, you will be able to identify with. And of course, based on your own circumstances, one would definitely weigh more important than the other. But the idea is we have, coming from a variety of people, here are 10 overall things that you could probably implement. So here's tip number 2.
Hey guys, Ansel here from Marriage Talk TT.
Carissa being here from Marriage Talk TT.
And I want to share a little tip with you guys, especially this one's for the husbands. If your wife are desirous of excelling in her career, starting a business, starting a new hobby, whatever it may be, give that support as best as possible. Support, encourage her in the best way you know how.
And I will say support your husband, support him as a father, support him as a business owner, support him in ministry, just support. Support is important.
Yeah, we want to thank Ansel and Carissa Bain. Ansel and Carissa Bain have a program, I think is 9:15 p.m. on a Monday, I believe it is. If I'm please forgive me if I give any wrong information. I believe it's 9:15 p.m. on a Monday. It's called Marriage Talk TT. So they just have this session where they talk with married people, with married couples, and talk about marital issues, the good, the bad, and the ugly, work out things, look at issues that come up in relationship and look at what are some of the suggestions people can use to get out of certain circumstances and how they treat with different things. Like recently they had this one discussion, should a husband report to his wife? And that was an interesting term. I don't know if he deliberately used that, but should the husband report to his wife his whereabouts, during the course of the day, kind of thing? And we had some differing views. I will leave that there, but you can find them on YouTube, of course, or you can find them on Facebook. Sorry, Ansel Bain or Carissa Bain, or just look for Marriage Talk TT, and you can find them there and see what they have to say, and see some of the kind of issues that they deal with. But support your spouse, support your partner, support your partner. I know one family, for instance. The traditional thing is that the husband goes out and work, and the wife stays home, takes care of the family, and that kind of thing. I know one particular couple that is the exact opposite. And don't feel the husband the man was a worker. He got laid off, whatever, wherever he was, whatever job he was doing. Tried many times, going back to the field, looking for things, and some just wasn't working out. But his wife, at the same time, it was very easy for her to get work, where she was. She left the company and was able to go back and get work almost instantly, and all that different kind of and so they made a decision. Hey, babes, here what? You work, I will handle the house, I will handle the children. And listen, if you see them children well mannered, well groomed, they're growing up proper, so the man is doing an excellent job. Some people might look to call all kind of names, but it's a support basis, a supporting. So the wife had a career going, she's studying for the degree, whatever, and she's working at the same time. You say, listen, nah, man, maybe don't fight up the thing. You could make it. I will support you. Of course, he's doing things, otherwise on the side and so. But he chose to stay home. I will handle the children. And when you see how those children grow up, how they behave, the level of respect, you would not think that is a man running the house like that. But ties in with a number of different things here. Trust, support. So thank you, Ansel and Carissa, for that one. We're heading down the road. Listen, we get some nice tips here, guys. taking these tips, right? Share this with your friends, your family, and that kind of this good stuff. Follow here. So let's take in tip number 3.
One tip for having a long-lasting and healthy relationship is to always be open and honest about your feelings.
Yeah, because when you talk about anything, you're angry, you're sad, you're unhappy about something, your partner knows how to react. He will know what to say, he will know how to be with you, and hiding your feelings and keeping it to yourself, it is not healthy for the relationship. So basically this is one of the main tips that will help our relationship grow into fruition.
Because feelings come and feelings go. You know, we learned that recently. Today you feel one way and tomorrow you get up, you feel a different way. So feelings come, feelings go, but always remember to talk about it, be honest about it. Whether your partner likes it, they may not like it. But the thing is, that's how you know that you have to work through it. By talking to each other, letting each other know. Yeah.
Yeah, but be open, and the thing is, and they said that is not easier. Even the first couple, Adrian and Jason, they said the same thing too. It's not easy, because I know something you're concerned of what the person would think about you to start with. If you're being honest about some of the things you're feeling, but you also don't want to hurt them, you know, and stuff like that. But we had to be truthful. We had to be honest. You know, what's the sense you're grinding and the thing? A lot of people have let's say marriage. A lot of marriages have reached the point of divorce because the husband grinding at something for much years and when he can't take because he never opened up to the wife, or vice versa. The woman just taking this thing over and over, and she not saying anything. Maybe because of fear of how the husband might react, or she feels she might hurt his ego, or so she decided not to talk. But it eating away like a cancer, and when you can't take it no more, you know, you start to talk about divorce and breakup, and yeah. So it's finding a balance to it, because if spouse A goes to spouse B and say, listen, babes, or you know, husband, wife, whatever, thing, this is how I'm feeling. You see right now, so this is why dealing with right now. This is what going on with me. The other partner need to also not be judgmental and understand we are still human. As human beings, we'll go through things. We may not always like it. It mightn't be something that fits our values, our personal perspective on life and other things. But we also have to be mindful that there's another human being that have their own struggles that they did. Not because you, for instance, you might be able to sleep on a bed of money today, and by tomorrow you forget that. Your partner might have a little bit of a kleptoism, if that is a word. Your partner might not be so open and easy going around money. They see at $200-$300, the eye open big, and they want it. You know, that's so not because you know, could cope with a certain thing a certain way means automatically your partner should be able to. They're their own human being. They're their own person. So they will have their own struggles to deal with, and you need to also be mindful of that and work with them. Comes back now to a different level of support from what Ansel and Carissa were saying. Here is support in supporting your partner in dealing with a scenario. You know, I was going to go down some road, but I will leave that one there for now. We could add some other things inside that. Right, so it's about working together. Right, so let's go on to tip number 4. So thank you, Alistair and Nicole, some good friends of mine, very good friends of mine, almost like family, practically like family, you know, kind of thing. But serious, that's a serious point there. Be open and honest. But I will also want to add on the other side, the partner who is on the listening side need to also be open to hear what your partner is trying to tell you, and do not be judgmental. Listen. It may be something that needs fixing, no problem. Then let's see. Okay, I hear you, babes. Okay, let's see how we could work this out. You now have to also be open and say, well, I hear you, I don't agree, but I hear you, I understand where you're coming from. So let me see if how we could work it, and you take it from there. All right, so be open and honest. Thanks, Alistair and Nico. Let's go on to tip number 4.
My husband is my friend. Over the years, I got to know him, understand him, and accept him. And there's a lot of compromise in that, but through it all, I really enjoy his company, and I can say he being my friend has made our relationship last. It's become stronger. And I am very grateful for that. We have had challenging times, but I have a friend in my husband, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I want to play over this. Just a little piece a little piece from the top of this one. I want to play over a little piece.
My husband is my friend. Over the years, I got to know him, understand him, and accept him. And there's a lot of compromise in that, but through it all, I really enjoy his company. And
She learned over the years. She learned to understand him and accept him. That can be a whole tip right by itself. To accept your partner. That is a serious tip right there. Now, that wasn't what she was talking about. She was talking about the friendship. She cherished the friendship that they have. It wasn't just a relationship of formality. They meet. Some people. For instance, if two people happen to have a child together, they try to use the child as the catalyst for the relationship. So they only get married because of the child, and very often those don't last long because there's nothing really between them like before. So it's just because for the convenience of the child we decide to get married or stay together, kind of thing. But what she's saying is she grew to accept him, accept who he is. I know there's a challenge for a lot of people to accept your spouse, to accept your partner for who they are without trying to change them. And why I find this was significant, I'm sorry ladies, I'm just being real, right? We could be real, right? We could be real, right? This red, be real. The reality is, and it's interesting that she's the one that said she grew to accept him. She learned to accept him. The reality is, the sad reality is, very often, and I'm saying it, although it might vex me, but I'm saying it, a lot of wives try to change their husband into what they think he should be. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that every husband as he comes is perfect. Of course, we have the little rough edge we need to fix and trim off and thing. But the thing is, they try to make him into the kind of man that they want him to be, but that is so different from who he is. In other words, I see how he does operate and thing. I ain't taking that. It's kind of weird. You met the man a certain way, you fall in love with him, but yet you're trying to change him into something else. Understand what I mean? I'm not talking about because we grow as we go through life. We grow and we learn new things. We learn to we fine tune ourselves. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where you literally try to change the man from being who he is, the kind of person he is. So he likes action movie. He must stop liking action movie and start watching Lifetime. You know, romance kind of thing. Being romantic in the bedroom is one thing, but you feel them action, it's violent and thing, and so he must stop doing that, watching that, and start watching the kind of movies you want. I just use that as a kind of extreme to explain what I'm. But you understand what I'm talking about? And very often you find scenarios where wives try to change their husbands. Yeah. You'll always get problems with that. He could never be you. You could never be he. And very often is that they try to get the husbands to do the things he would do, but do the things the way the wife would want to do it. You understand what I mean? So it's simple things like how he might eat. Because you mightn't eat so you want him to change that. Because no, come on, man. Acceptance is a big thing. Yeah. Oh boy, that's a huge one. So thanks to Cliff and Donna. Cliff and Donna has our next one coming down later in the pile. They did two together, so I kind of separate them because they were two uniquely separate points. But I want to say thanks to Cliff and Donna for that. Tip number 4, maintain friendship. Maintain friendship. Is that term I usually hear parents using with reference to their children, you know, they being a friend to the child. Mostly again, mothers, daughters kind of thing. Usually hear that a lot about, you know, wanting to be their friend, a friend to their child. But even as married couples and whatnot, it's important to maintain that friendship. Just be a friend, you know. Just as you talk to any of your friends, but it must flow both ways. So if I am talking to you as a friend, you must now be able to receive me as a friend. So you can't stay in the marital zone while I talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being a friend. I'm just being, we playful, whatever, like a friend. Then you need to receive me as a friend at that point in time. Yeah. That's a little tip, I think. Hey, all of it, buff my banting, if all of you are going around buff my, I taking buff too, you know. So let's move on to tip number 5. Tip number 5.
If I had to say just one, and for me that was the most important tip, or most important factor, or the most important rule that I live by, and that was commitment. To me, commitment is more important than anything else, because if you ain't committed to something, you would never go into it wholeheartedly, right? When I said I do to my wife, I was making a commitment. I was making a choice. I was saying, in spite of whatever, I will love you. I will be there for you. I will be your support. I will be your strength. And that is not if she is doing it for me, you know. That is a choice I make. As an individual, you have to make that choice as to if you want your relationship to work or not. It's a choice. Christ made that choice, you know. He said he would love us irregardless. We were sinners. We were lost. But he chose to love us. And that is the rule I live by. I choose to love my wife. I choose to be a part of her. You would say the two become one. And if there is one, you ain't gonna cut off your hand, you ain't gonna cut off your toe, you ain't gonna cut off a finger. Alright? Because they go pain you. Likewise, they wouldn't pong your hand or you put on your toe with a hammer. Right? So why we just try to hurt our partners? That is the person you love. That is your one. So for me, and I'm trying to give it short, you know, for me, it's commitment. The number one rule. If you can't commit, you can't go no further. Everything is a trial. And this relationship thing, this marriage thing, and no trial in it. It's making it happen. Commit to it and do it. Blessings. Stay up. Red, number 1.
Hey, the best thing Ansel says in the end, red, number 1. Nah, just kidding. Of course, seriousness. Solid point, commitment. Don't even go at it if you're not committed. Don't even go. Don't waste time. Don't go and stress out somebody else. Because you're not committed to the process. You're not committed to the venture. You're not committed to the thing. That is a serious one. Commitment. Ansel, I think I have liberty to say, Ansel would have lost his wife last year. I think last year. Right after, well, you see how much years that was, by 23 plus years together, so that, and I could attest, I could vouch, I see the man's commitment. I've worked with him, I've had him work with me on a number of projects, and I see how he operates. I've seen him operate in his family circles, that kind of thing, and the man really is a committed man, seriously. He's a committed man. So when he talk about that being the most important thing to him, I could fully understand. Yeah, so Ansel, thank you for that one. Before I go ahead, let me just tell you this. If you're interested in bringing any topic to Red, you have something you want to discuss, you want to launch a record, you want to launch a new track, you have a video, you have some issue, something happening in your community that you want to talk about, that you want us to do, you want to highlight, you want to talk about your business, feel free to contact us. Contact me, 477-1121. Of course, this is in Trinidad. For those of you who might be outside looking on 1-868-477-1121, ericvalvarez@gmail.com, or just drop a note, on the in the chat section in YouTube, or send a direct message in Facebook, or WhatsApp is also attached to that number. So number of ways you can get in touch with me. So link us up. Let's see how we could do this thing. So we're going on now to tip number 6. Again, Ansel Neves, thank you for that tip. Commitment, very serious one.
Our one tip that we would strongly advise anybody, we would strongly suggest, that we have actually implemented in our relationship. We've been married for the last 31 years this year. 31 years this year. And our claim to fame, our boast, if you want to use that term, is that within that 31 years, plus 4 years of courtship, we have never once quarreled with each other. Let me say that again. We have never once quarreled with each other. I like you?
No. No.
Tell them. And that's because we learned something. Actually, I learned it and I passed it on to my wife. Somebody introduced me to a book. When I was thinking about getting married, a friend introduced me to a book called The Total Man by Dan Benson. And in the book, he was talking about dealing with issues and, conflicts is something you can't get away from. We have this saying in Trinidad, teeth and tongue must clash, right? That is just a saying. We have proven that to be false, at least so far, within 31 plus 4 years, right? So 35 years total. Because one of the things he said in the book is that when you get to the point of quarreling, you never solve an issue. You always have to settle down, then you can rationally discuss and come to some kind of conclusion. So we decide, well, why even reach to the point of quarreling if that's the case? Because it makes no sense. We'll never solve the issue through quarreling. So we might as well try to keep it calm and let's deal with the thing head on early. So our tip is really nip it in the bud. Some issue comes up. I see it right?
Yeah.
You have to talk to it.
Yeah.
So some issue come up, nip it in the bud. Deal with it early. Don't leave it to fester and grow worms, for want of a better word, and when you can't take it no more, which is what most people tend to do. I'm going to say most, a lot of people. You leave the thing, don't deal with it. And 6 months later you hear, you remember so and so, and they talk about something 3 months ago, 4 months, 6 months ago that they never dealt with.
Deal with it, Tony.
Yeah, boy. Let me just send a message here. Quick. Yeah, deal with it. No, that's our tip. That's something we live by. That's like a mantra in our relationship. And I said, people don't believe me when I say it, because one thing I notice about human beings, we tend to project ourselves onto people back at us. So, because we will operate in a particular way, when we're dealing with somebody else, we automatically assume and project onto that person that they would behave just like us in a similar scenario, and see that coming back at them from the person. But it's really you projecting that onto them. So, like for instance, one lady told me once when we talking about this thing. She said she liked to quarrel because she just looked forward to the making up after. I don't know. But she liked to quarrel with the husband because it gives her excuse to. It's not make up really, but she looks forward to that intimate after. But I find that kind of, I don't know. But that's how some people are. And there are some people who feel that they must get their point across. So once they're in the right, you could say what you want. I will fight you tooth and nail. And I ain't going down just so. For what? As I said, you never really think about it. What serious situation have you settled through a quarrel? Think about it. You always have to settle down and then deal with the thing rationally. So then why quarrel in the first place? You so want to get your point across. And so that's how we live for, as I said, 31 years of marriage, May this year, and 4 years of courtship. Never once. What's the use? Yes, because I'm one of those, I hate my partner in tip number 1, Jason, talk about cliche. Not that I don't like cliches. The concept of cliche I'm very careful with. A lot of times we just do things because, just as he said, it's cliche. Or we say things just because it's cliche. We just do it because, it's what everybody else does, so let's just do it too. But sometimes you have to sit back and, does it make sense really to do this? I mean, do I need to do this? What good is going to come about from this? So we end up in a big fight, thing, pot pelting, whatever, quarrel, top of our voice, and what really did that do? Anything? No. And then we had to now settle down, and babes are sorry, and well, then why even get there? So as I say, a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them that, because they just can't see themselves doing it, because they are the total opposite. The slightest thing, they're ready to bust your throat, quarrel like that. So it's difficult for them to see 35 years and only never once quarrel. Here the other thing, and sometimes I tell people this, and their response is usually, I'll never quarrel, so let us agree on everything. No, and see, that's the problem. Not because we disagree on something means we have to quarrel about it. And here the thing, we've actually had situations where we brought each other to tears. Yeah, my wife make me cry. I make she cry. Some stupidness I do, and she can't take it, and tears. Still no quarrel for that. We deal with it. Does it make, what's the sense of quarreling? Sometimes we have some very, what's the word, hot debates on issues, but we don't raise the voice. We never get to the point of raising the voice and pointing finger and choking up in one another's face and calling each other names. You real stupid. So I might say it calm like that, but the words, so I mightn't shout it out, but you real. I might say it very calmly, but you had to be a real idiot. to do that. And I screw up my face already. I don't know why I married you. And all. So I ain't shouting, you know, but nice quarreling still. We've never even done that. I'm saying it. I mean, it is what it is. And it is one of the things that have us where we are today. I see my wife is posting something here. And I mean, this is a milestone in itself because my wife she's more. You notice she didn't say much in the video. She typed it. She texted. This is a big thing, you know. All I don't know how big this is, you know, because she was one of the. She actually took my computer class. I mentioned that I run some computer classes online, and she actually sat in. She was one of those who shied away from computer for years. I mean, really shied away. But look, she's here texting. So my wife says, amen, babe, another foundation block. Yeah, the whole quarrel thing. Yeah, that's a serious one. That's a serious one. She said here, agree to disagree. And that's important. Of course, agree to disagree. We don't have to agree on everything. We do not have to agree on everything, and that's another misconception a lot of spouses have. They feel they must agree. No, follow what I'm saying. There's a different. Before I say that, let me show you the next tip. Because it might seem to be in conflict with what I'm about to say, but I'll run it first, and then you'll understand why I was going to say what I'm about to say, and I will say it. Listen to this. Tip number 7.
Money is one of the things that cause, or at least the way people think and conceptualize money, it causes a lot of distress in marriage. And one of the things that we really want to focus on today is having one set of finances, pooling together the finances of the family for the benefit of the family. We don't, and we have never had her money and my money. We have always had one set of finances. Whether I work, she works, my wife and I have always had one set of finances. It is one of the things that keeps or discourages gelling within the marriage relationship, and one of the things that needs to stop. I have a separate bank account. That's for paying purposes. Diona has a separate bank account as well, and we have access to each other's. And this is not for sure. We really do have access to each other's bank account, right? Because it's not her money, it's not my money, it's the family's money. It's one. We are focused on being one in everything, and money and finances is one of the areas where we need to come to the understanding that it is not hers, it's not mine. The Lord gave it to the family, and thus we pull it together and we see no issues there. So if that's a part of your relationship today, talk about it, think about it. If there are trust issues involved as to why it is you don't have each other's bank account numbers and all that kind of stuff, deal with the trust issues. But let me tell you, let us come together and be one in our finances. God desires us to be one in everything. Even as we are intimately, we are to be one in material things as well.
Yes.
And that is God's design for man. Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother, cleave to his wife, and they two shall become one. One in everything. Alright? So may God bless you. We are the Tates. We would wish that you stay safe, you stay well, wear your mask, and may God bless you. Aiden
And Diona.
Aiden and Diona Tate, thank you very much for that tip. Keep the money singular. And I know I'm going to say it again. I know a lot of women go down the road with that. The money he worked for is ours. The money I work for is mine. His money is our money. But my money is my money. I know a lot of wives go down the road with that, but that's Oli will deal with that. But I want to agree with Aiden and Diona. That's actually how we operate. I have a business account, for instance. It is in my name as a sole trader account. I didn't do a joint account because that has its own set of drama with it. My wife has her own bank account. I have my own savings account, my personal account. Son has his account. But guess what? Sometimes they go out to the grocery. Yeah, look the card, look the bank card. I have a card. I have a debit card attached to the account. And so, of course, we bring back the bills and all that kind of stuff. But look the card. You know, you need to look the card. Babes, look my wallet there. You know, you have to bring it to me and I look inside secretive and then give you extra. No, look at there. My son had to go to look the card. The number is because he doesn't use it regular, so I don't expect him to remember the password, the pin for the card. But if there's the pin, take out so much, do whatever, do that, ting. Because exactly that is ours. You know, what my company is working for is not for me. It's for my family. You know, so then I don't make it a point to come home and say, all right, this is the report for the evening. This is how much we have in the account today. This is what I use. This is what I think. But at any point, they just want to ask, how much money we have in the account? We could do, I don't know, let me see. Go online, thing right in front there, go on the phone and check it and say, nah, we only have so much and so much. We can't do that yet. We have to get ting. You know, it's because it's ours. You know, and I don't know. There may be some trust issues there. When you so feel whatever that when you what you work for, that's yours, personal. That's for you to do your thing and whatever. Yeah, well, ladies are saying it. Or look at vex with me follow on. I just saying it. You know, I don't agree with that. But anyhow, that is not the clip I was referring to. It's this one that's coming now. When I was talking about, you know, because my wife made the point about agreeing to disagree. But here the step, and I'll tell you why I held back on saying what I want to say, and I'll clarify after this one. So here's tip number 8.
I'm Alan, aka Mel, and this is my wife Jenny, aka Jen. Together we are Mel and Jen. And we have been married for 35 years. We courted for just about 4 years, and ever since we got married or planning to get married, our thought was and our plan was that to work through life and to work through marriage, we need to be on the same page. We need to be in agreement with each other, and that is not always the easiest task. We're different people.
Yes, so that as Christians, we build our lives on the principles of the Word of God, and we decided as a young couple that every decision that we have to make, that it will be based on the Word of God, because as you know, couples, we as individuals come from different backgrounds, and so we don't always agree on the same thing. No couple, I believe, agrees on the same thing. So that we decided to avoid my opinion, your opinion, to have fights and stuff. And mind you, we do have arguments. Ask Marcel, our daughter, lots of arguments and disagreements. However, at the end of the day, as a couple, we always go back to what does the Word of God have to say, and whatever the Word of God has to say, that has the final say.
And that's the tip we want to leave today. We are different individuals living together. Our lives have been united, but that doesn't make me Jenny, neither does it make Jenny me. At the end of the day, we have to come to agreement, as the scriptures, I think you said just now, how can two walk together except they be agreed? But what do we agree on? How do we come about agreement when we're so different, when we're so vastly opposite? I like to go out. Jenny can stay in the house 365, no problem, not even a window open. But so how do we work around our differences and come to the place where we can agree on stuff? Do we agree to disagree, which a lot of people do? Or do we agree that, you know, I'm the husband, so whatever I say goes, and or you seem to be smarter than me, so whatever you say goes. No, so we have determined that if we are to agree for a successful relationship, it has to be on some common ground. And what we have found is that common ground is
The Word of God.
the Word of God, the Bible. Guaranteed. God is the one who instituted marriage and the concept of intimate relationships. Therefore, He is the best one to give the blueprint for it. And through His Word, He has given us clear instructions as to how to make our relationships work, how to make it successful.
The Bible says, how shall two walk together except they be agreed? If you want to continue to walk as a couple, because although two becomes one, at the end of the day, you're still two individuals.
That's right.
So we want to encourage you all. If you want to be in agreement, if you want to walk together, you have to be in agreement.
And the only thing to agree on to make that happen is the Word of God, the Bible. Take that from us, Mel and Jen.
Mel and Jen, that's my big brother, Marlon Alvarez, Pastor Marlon Alvarez, and his wife Jenny. Some good solid advices. So now I could kind of tie that with what I was saying and what my wife said about agreeing to disagree. And they talk about some, around the same kind of thing there. The thing about it is we are individuals. We are different in many cases. And the idea about agreeing to disagree is simply a measure of compromise. And many times we have to do that. Agreeing in the real sense might simply mean a case of giving up your personal feelings on the matter and going along with what the other person says. And sometimes it's a matter of chipping away both ends until we come to that point. All right, okay, we could settle on this. We could settle on this, and let's move forward with that. So yeah, good solid advice there. We had to be on the same page. Can two walk together except they be agreed? I mean, let's come down, man. Let's be real. I mean, you'll see this person, you like them, you like how they look, you like certain things about them, but certain things they believe you don't. You will have conflicts. And I'm not just talking about things from a religious or spiritual perspective. I mean in general. They have certain viewpoints and certain belief systems that are totally in conflict with yours. But you still love you will have problems. You will have problems. I could put my head on a block. You will have problems. That's just the way it is. So unless one person is willing, and that becomes a little tricky, because how strongly do you believe what you believe? How fundamental to your existence is that belief that you feel you cannot give it up? Because if you should compromise that, all these things we have to be mindful of. So Marlon and Jenny, aka Mel and Jen, thank you for that tips. We have two more, and two more. So here's Cliff and Donna again with their other side. So we heard from Donna before, Donna and Cliff Samuel. We heard Donna talking about maintaining that level of friendship even though in the marriage. And here's Cliff's side and his take.
I would like to say, if it's one tip, and there are so many others I could say, but if it's one tip, I'd like to say I appreciate my wife enjoying my sense of humor. She's laughing at my stale jokes, you understand? And not patronize me with a laugh, sometimes, yeah. So that really goes a long way, and it allows me to be myself. And she said, I always believe in a successful relationship, it's not a matter of how many years you could rack up, but really I believe it's more like being able to grow individually while you're growing together with your partner. So many persons I've met, they have years to tell you about, but yet they somehow I didn't gather that they grew individually. They probably did a lot of compromise and they could tell you maybe if they were somewhere else, how much further they would have gotten. I can't say that with me. You understand? So I have figured that a successful relationship with me is whereby is teamwork. All right, and again, a sense of humor it carries it a great way, a long way.
I'm sure some of you looking on could recall a scenario like this, where you see this lady, pretty, real princess, Miss Universe type, Miss World kind of quality, you have to use that, real pretty, dandy up and thing. And then the gentleman that I'm trying to be very kind and careful with this, right? But the gentleman that she happens to be with is not a looker. Let's put it that way. Kind of like me, not all that. He just there. Nothing special nothing standoutish about his looks. He's not a Mr. Universe kind of thing. And how she end up with he? And somewhere along the line, you get to find out he makes her laugh. I never forgot that. From all my years growing up, and I heard several stories like that. The man had the ability to make his wife, his lady, laugh. And I mean, just laugh and enjoy life and enjoy herself. And because of that, she saw him completely different from how everybody else would be seeing him. So I could understand what Cliff is talking about. I mean, I'm not saying Cliff is a bad-looking fella. I know what I'm saying. But I understand, having seen these things, I understand what he's saying. Women like a sense of humor in a man. A man may not as much. Of course, everybody likes to laugh. So to most men, it may not be such a big issue. But I know for women, that ability to laugh by your husband, so for him to be able to make you laugh, your husband, your boyfriend, your significant others, we would say, I know that is a very important factor. And the thing is, Cliff is saying he appreciates that his wife likes to hear his jokes. His wife likes when he makes her laugh. He appreciates that fact, so that encourages him to be even more so that kind of individual. Of course, everything has to be balanced, because the extent you could take it to the extreme where you just become a clown, and nothing in life is serious, and everything is just a joke, and then your wife just get carried away with the whole thing, and then everything to she is a joke, and nobody takes anything serious anymore. So we have to be careful with that too. But the point is very solid. That ability to make your wife laugh, to make her smile, to make her just relax and have a good time, that is a very important factor. And we have last one, and that's this one. This was actually the last one to come in, but I think it fit being the last one, because this is one of them that kind of shook me like a little knife. Eric, take that. Oh God, yeah, cool, yeah, boy. I had to. Oh God, I had to rock back and massage my own neck for this one. Oh gosh, yeah. I've been guilty of this. Anybody know me? No, I'm not afraid to talk. I will say if I lapse, I say it. If I went wrong, I say it. I've been guilty of this one. So I want to thank this person, and here is tip number 10.
I've been married for 12 years. Married to one wife, one lady, all right, Afisha Lewis, and we have 3 kids together, 1 7-year-old and twin daughters, all right. So something that we basically live by, and it's something that I've been taught by a good friend of mine, right, many years ago, and that is, we need to make time to spend time. We need to make time to spend time. Because most of our lives, if you have your own business, or you have a dream, or a goal, or a vision, sometimes we tend to, forget life. We tend to forget everybody that participates in our life. We tend to forget our spouse, and we focus on the big picture. Nothing wrong with focusing on the big picture, all right? But sometimes we focus so much. We have this aim so much that we forget everything around us. And when we reach a certain level and we finally accomplish what we want to accomplish, when we look back, we lose a lot of people in the process, including our wife. There are many stories where people pursue their dreams, husbands pursue their dreams, or their wife pursue their dreams, kids as well, and at the end of life, it didn't really worth it because the regrets, right? Because the husband, the wife, the kid failed to communicate, failed to show that respect, and failed to, spend time. So my word of advice is to make time to spend time. Make time to spend time. And it goes in all directions. Spend time with your kids, spend time with your loved ones, spend time with your wife. It's okay to work hard, not a problem. But from time to time, take the stress off, take down everything, and go and talk to your wife. Go and talk to your kids. Make time to spend time. All right? So, thanks again, Eric, for having me on Red. God bless.
And thank you, Ashton, for being on Red. The man come up in the mic, he say, make time to spend. I'll be honest. It is what it is. Again, because, and just like him, I was fortunate to learn something. Somebody showed me something that I was able to implement. Somebody showed him something that he was able to implement in his marriage relationship. But it's a serious note. Make time to spend time. The day is not getting longer. It's still 24 hours in a day. It's still 365 days in a year. They're not getting longer. The days, no hours being added on to the day. So, as I tell people, you can't take on more activities for the day, but still want to dedicate the same amount of time to everything else you've been doing before. It can't happen. You have to move time from one place to the next. So, if you had to do them, you had to give up time some way for something. That's just the reality. Make time to spend time. I like that. Normally we just say spend time, but now I like this word. Make time to spend time. Rest down something. Sometimes we really look at the bigger picture, and what we see is the bigness of the picture. But it's only a picture. It's not the whole earth. Alright, so Ashton, I want to tell you personally thanks for that one. Have some readjusting to make, and some shifting, and some cut and contrive, and yeah, man. Yeah. So it was a good evening, folks. 10 tips for a long-lasting relationship. Not 10 tips for that perfect relationship. Not 10 tips for a blissful relationship. We could go down the road with all of that, but 10 tips for simply a long-lasting relationship. We would have our ups, we would have our downs, we'll have our moments of despair, we will have moments of glee, we will have our moments of feeling like we're floating on cloud 9, we'll have our moments of as if we under the sea, the deepest sea. But it's a matter of finding ways to work it out for the benefit of both of us. And if you have children, we'll include them too for the long run. Because nobody gets married, well, let me just say nobody, except those weird cases of convenience, like somebody, some illegal entry in that country or whatever kind of thing. But generally, nobody gets married purposing to get divorced in a year's time, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time. Most people get married with the intention of staying together for long. But circumstances come out that for one reason or another they can't deal with, or they deal with badly, and the marriages are broken up, annulled, whatever, they end up in divorce, all that kind of stuff. So We just have to work at it. It's work. Relationship is work, people. If you didn't know it, you're in a relationship, you're in a relationship. If you didn't know it before, no. Relationship is work. You see all the love thing and the butterfly feelings and all that is work. Ansel said it right. It's a choice. You choose to love the person. The feelings you had is one thing. The feelings not necessarily love. That infatuation, that butterfly in the stomach, that's not necessarily love. But maybe because of that, you've got these feelings and you have something connected. You decided to love the person. You choose to love the person. The choice is even more apparent when the person does not do the things that you would like. When they tell you the things that you would not like to hear. When they do things that you would prefer not to do or to see being done by them. Those are the real testing times when you know whether you really love the person or not. Because you see, you have to choose to love them. It don't just happen just so. You don't just snap your finger and love. No, you choose. You choose to. So, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for those of you who joined us this evening, and we'll be back again. We may be moving to a new time slot soon. I'm just looking at some logistics. I'm just letting you guys know we may be moving to a new time slot. Not saying what yet because I don't want people hold me down to a certain and say, hey, I thought you said moving to... No. We may be moving to a new time slot soon, but of course you will know beforehand. And if you're following the channel, of course you would get the information before to know when we in fact do that shift. I'll announce it for like about 2 weeks kind of thing, so there's a build up. So when we do finally make the shift, everybody should be well informed kind of thing. Alright, so again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us here on Red and remember, please, COVID-19 is real, folks. COVID-19 is real. Yes, there may be conspiracies attached to it. Yes, governments or other institutions might be using it to their advantage for unscrupulous reasons, but it does not change the fact that there is a disease going around called COVID-19 that is killing people. Let us be sensible. This picture says, my mask helps you, your mask helps me. This is not saying that the mask is going to cure COVID. This is not saying that the mask is the only form of protection against COVID. Help means exactly that, help. It means it is only adding some measure of assistance to the whole process. We still have to keep distance. We still have to keep sanitization, to the forefront. Wash, clean up, soap and water, wipe down, sanitize, all that. We still have to keep that there. But ladies and gentlemen, please, COVID-19 is very real. People are dying every day. Our death toll is 50, close to 60 now. A few more within the last few days. We're close to 60 now, our death toll in Trinidad. At one time, we were like 8 for quite a while before election. And shortly after, we close to 60. And people want to talk. We don't go down that road, but the thing about it is that too much selfishness. A lot of the people who pushing for the government to open back beach or open the borders and open bar and open this and then. If you found out that one of your relatives died as a direct result of one of those measures, they went by the beach, they contracted it by the beach, or they end up on a boat or a plane and contracted it there, or they end up in a bar or some other place, where people crowding around, and they contracted it there and they died. I wonder if you'll still be adamant to open the borders and let me go by the beach and all them kind of thing. And those of you feel that you're being pressured to wear masks and all that kind of stuff, tell that to the family of the 56 or 57 or how much people who died. Tell them that. And how many others line up currently under pressure in Cora and the other place. Tell them that now. Tell them that. Tell them that. And more so, when you get it, don't go in the health facilities. Don't go in the hospital. No. Go and sit down in the sun. Yeah, because apparently that does work. So, it's a big hoax. So, don't, you can't fight this system. But when you get yourself in trouble, you want the same system to come and rescue you. No, it don't work so. For God alone knows why I'm not Prime Minister or Commissioner. Because every chance I take in a name, people like that, all right, no problem. What's your name? The day, anytime, and I want a daily report. Anytime somebody is admitted to the hospital or health institute, are circulating a list of names. See if they list the name on this list. Once the name is on that list, forget them. I know some people might wonder, why is so bad? Yeah. Because you're fighting against the system and putting people's life in jeopardy. But when yours get in trouble, suddenly the same system you want to rescue you. So you're anti the system to the point where other people could die from the process. But when your turn comes, you want the same system. So look, you see that? Let me leave that there. 10 tips for a long-lasting relationship. So maybe there's a good tip for a long-lasting Trinidad and Tobago. Let me just do this smart thing, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I know it's you don't want to wear a mask 24/7. Who tell you how to wear a mask 24/7? You know they tell you when you go out, you really going out for that length of time in public? You're telling me at no point in time would you be by yourself, nowhere, that you could take off your mask for a few minutes? Or how them doctors just have masks for so long and we don't hear them suffering from the thing that people claim? That's a claim, you know what I mean? How come them we have people who working in dust, welding and doing all that and wearing masks for hours? We don't hear them being suffering with all these kind of thing. But because you had to wear a mask, you had to go on the road. You're leaving home to go and buy bread by the junction. You had to wear a mask for a half hour. You beating up the whole day. I breathing my own carbon dioxide and that next story by itself. Yeah. Anyhow, people, let me go here before I get myself in trouble. I'll go on. See you all next week on Red.